All right, today we get to visit with Tasha Long, and it's such a pleasure to be able to interview her. Behind every rodeo cowboy, I believe, especially ones who make the NFR, have a better wife, because in order to keep a family together, especially in a rodeo lifestyle, it takes a good woman, and I don't think they get enough credit. So I've asked Tasha to talk with us about how she gets her strength and what it takes to support a husband so that he can be successful too and not burdened, because it takes a team effort, a family effort, that they have to be together. So it is very exciting, and has it been an easy road?
No, it hasn't been an easy road. I would say that it's been a tough road, but it's been a fun one too. So it's been a bit of a challenge, but it's had its ups and downs, but we've made it. So.
It wasn't what you expected.
No, it wasn't. Some of what, because I think I've kind of, got a glimpse of it in the past. But actually being able to go all summer, it really opened my eyes.
Well, it took a sacrifice for you to choose to go with him all summer.
Yes, it did.
It's amazing to me that you spent several months apart.
Mm-hmm.
I think you mentioned to me when we were visiting earlier that for several months it was only 15 days. How many? What was that stretch?
Yeah, he left sometime in February, because that's when the season kind of really kicks off. He's gone a little bit in January, but then February he took off, and I think it was about from then till middle of May we saw him like 15 days total. So, and
wow.
And that in itself was a challenge. I mean, because there's chances for self-pity all over, all the time,
mm-hmm.
coming and going and decide, I was working and he was gone, and it just was, just a challenge in itself.
How did you handle the challenges though and get strength during that time? Because it wasn't easy.
No, it wasn't easy. And Jake and I both, we've talked about this, we'd be talking with you, but we kind of look back over it all, and, we were just like, it was God. It was God for the whole summer. It was God for the whole winter season. It was just, when he left, we actually left with him the first trip out, and it was when we came home. You come home to an empty house, you're like, it's not so bad, but then as the months started going away, it was like, wow, I'm alone, and you kind of had self-pity, and there was just times where I wanted to just quit. I just wanted to quit, and Satan was really trying to get me down, and I just had to lean on God. It was God who pulled me through the whole winter and through the whole summer.
Mm-hmm.
His strength and his peace, and that's what I would pray for. I need strength to get through this week, because I was working full time, and then I would come home, I'd pick Haven up from the babysitter, and then I had her all evening by myself. Just maybe it's nice somebody just watch her while you get ready for the evening, for bed and everything, but you didn't have that. So I really had to lean on God. It was mainly just asking God to please strengthen me to get through every day.
And he did. He obviously showered his grace. He did. And his mercy. And you went several months with Harleen. You just communicated through texts and phone calls?
Phone call and text.
That was not easy.
No.
I know that a text is not the same as, like my wife has told me this, a text is not the same as you hugging me and kissing me goodnight.
Right. Well, and here's what we battle with. And we battled with it this summer, being away from each other, because we weren't together all summer either.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's very hard with the American dream. We're all programmed and trained every day that, the perfect life, husband, wife, work, they come home together every night.
Mm-hmm.
And, we've chosen this lifestyle.
Yeah.
And in that it takes camaraderie.
Mm-hmm.
And not just that, but peace.
Yes.
Because you can't make it peace. Because naturally, when you don't have peace, who takes the brunt of it?
Yeah. Each other.
Yeah, your spouse.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And I think another thing too is you just have to focus on loving that person too. I think love was a big deal too. And the only way, and it's happened to me many times, the only way that I see that it's going to work is with God. There's no other way.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of those type of people who I'll try it on my own. I'll do things without knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, what what is going on? And it's because I'm trying to do it, and I'm like, then God just showing me, just turn it over. It's all you got to do. And
what's so powerful about just your willingness to be transparent, because we're talking about this year and your guys' road to the NFR. I mean, he made it this year.
I know.
It's very exciting. It's a lifelong dream as a family.
Right. Yes.
But whoever's watching, whether your husband's a blue-collar worker and a welder, and he has to go on trips for 3 weeks at a time or a month and then come back home, or a truck driver, every family goes through seasons like this.
And I always think of the troops. I've had many the soldiers over there fighting and stuff. That runs through my head a lot.
Yeah, their husbands go for 14 months.
Yeah, and I'm just, and I've always, there's somebody always worse off than you. There is always somebody. And that is one thing that always enters my mind. When Jake was gone too, I'm like, it's 2 weeks, or it's 2 months, or, it's not 14, like you said. It's just, we'll be back together. And then you thank God that you are able to get back together that soon. Then you're starting to be thankful for things, and it's not as hard to, to cope with. So.
Well, there's no doubt that in our Christian walk that thankfulness is a huge tool.
Yes.
Because I know for me and my wife, we're not perfect. And you and Jake aren't perfect.
Right.
But your love and your commitment is perfect.
Right. I will say that being as a couple, a married couple, going through periods where there's one is absent, along a lot of the time, the commitment part is huge. I mean, I'm a person who I'd be with Jake every single day if I could. I mean, he may not, he likes to, guys and girls are just different.
That's just the way it is.
But I could probably be with him every single day. And, but there's, when you can't, and then you long for something, and like, I don't get to talk to him, but maybe a couple times a day for like 5 minutes each time, then at night, or, every once in a while, I just want conversation. I just want 20-minute conversation about whatever. And guys and girls aren't the same. So we struggled with that it would be hard just to communicate with each other, because he didn't do anything all day. How can you tell that in 10 different ways?
Yeah.
I didn't do anything.
Right.
But he was very committed to making it work also. And he would take time out of his day and just tell me every little detail to make me happy.
Yeah, because
and
he
that
tries
was
and
him
he loves
being
you.
committed to make me happy and help me while he was gone.
So I know.
I appreciate that.
I know just from having a wife myself that because we're wired different.
Yeah.
The man and woman are wired different. How did you cope? Because I know it wasn't always easy. I know every day he wasn't able to sit and tell you every so. Can you please share just a few minutes about how you got strength from God, or how you prayed? Because I know that there's ladies that are watching that say, come on, please, just give me a prayer or a verse or something.
Right.
Like when my mind is going crazy and I'm getting angry, how do I combat that?
Right. Well, first of all, I mean, self-pity was trying to enter into my life practically every day. And so that was something I really had to battle with, and I think it's such a deep hole. You just get so far that you just, I just finally was like, I can't do this, that I love Jake, and you start resenting that person. And so I just was leaning on God, and I would just pray to him and be completely honest with God. That's my father. And I heard somebody say it, I'm not real sure who it was one time, saying, that's your father. You treat him just like your father. And say,
Amen.
Just like you're talking to your dad. You say, I'm not feeling well today. I'm lonely, and I don't, I have a void, and I'm starting to feel self-pity, and I don't want to. Help me, show me how to get out of this. Show me what to do. Show me where to read in my Bible. Show me something.
Give us an example of a day, how you applied it and what happened or how it walked out. Because God's real.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely.
Christianity is not a religion, it's a relationship.
Yeah. Well, I think for me it was, there's been many days. I don't know if I can recall just one day, but I know that when I got so down into self-pity, or just for the simple fact that I was working and he's working, but he wasn't doing stuff like I was doing stuff, during the day. And I prayed to God, just please, help me to fill this void. Help me to get out of this. Help me to stop feeling this way. And I would read my verse. I would read my Bible, and it took me to a place where it read about being content in every situation. And I was like, oh, okay, have you been doing that? So then I kind of started looking back on, am I content driving home from work? Am I content working all day, going to bed, getting up in the middle of the night because your daughter's awake? You know what I mean? Am I content? And
That's just being a mom in life.
That is life, right. And I wasn't content with a lot of things. And I thought, and then God wants me to be content. So I really, every day, every morning, I try to, okay, this isn't going right. The car wouldn't start, or, something, and you're like, oh, the car won't start, but you're still trying to be, thank you, God, that I have a family, that I have someone that I can call. It's a struggle. Yeah. You have to look past because what you're looking at, you're like, what can I be thankful for? Because I'm going to be, I remember one time that it snowed, and I was trying to get the truck out, and it had snowed it had drifted well behind the truck, and it was a dually, and I was trying to get out, and I couldn't get out, and I just said a prayer, and I said, God, please help me to get out. I don't know what else to do. I couldn't get anybody and anything, and I said, I was getting very frustrated, but then I just let it go. I was like, okay, so I can't get to school on time. I can't. It's okay because it's not my fault. And I just prayed for God to give me peace, and it was just this warm. It was just this great feeling, and I just thought, oh. And then I backed out, and I don't even know how. It was a spot so tight that I'm surprised I didn't damage our truck. And Jake called me that day, and I said, by the grace of God, I got out. That's how I got out.
Well,
I said, I promise you, I can't tell you how. Because that's how I got out. God got me out.
And God is interested.
Situation,
God's interested in being in your life.
Yes.
And involved. And all ladies, no matter what your family does for a living, they're a rodeo family, and there's lots of things that she has to do and walk through. But she calls on God, and His grace shows up. And the tool of thankfulness is actually a tool.
Yes.
Because there's a lot of women that don't even have a husband.
Yep.
Or they don't even have a husband that loves them.
Right.
And just simple thought, like you shared just briefly, of being thankful. Lord, I'm thankful for my husband. I'm thankful for my child. I'm thankful that, my husband does work.
It gives you a sense
that.
of peace when you start finding things to be thankful for. It really gives you a sense of peace. And because being able to go with Jake this summer, I had to quit my job. And
so you quit your job to support your husband in his dreams and his visions.
We had prayed about it for a long time. And finally, we just decided to step out of the boat, and we were going to go with it. And so I wavered. You kind of feel like, oh, maybe I should work part-time or whatever. And I recently learned, I was going to tell you, we were visiting earlier, that I was listening to Joyce Meyer, and she was saying that when God told her to quit her job, Satan wants to make deals with you. And he wanted me, maybe you should work part-time. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you should.
Let's compromise. Let's compromise.
And I was like, and at the time, I didn't know that, but I chose not to. And then when I heard her say that the other day, I was like, oh, praise God. Yeah, you went with it. I was proud that I listened, and I was able to hear him and listen to that because I was scared. I was trying to waver. It was scary. So.
Yeah. Well, God uses many things. Like the radio, Joyce Meyer's, your Bible, just being thankful, just being honest with God, and just talking. Because being a rodeo wife isn't easy, but walking through life, whether your husband travels, welding, like I said earlier, or whatever, you can lean on God and find strength. I would like to welcome you to listen to more. She has other interviews, and she's going to have an interview that she shares how she spends time with God, because it's not easy. But sometimes just grabbing a verse and listening to, as a family, if you can lean on the grace of God, you will succeed as a family no matter what you do. And Jake's made the NFL. We're all very excited about that the first time.
Yes,
hopefully the first time in many.
We hope.
Yes. And life is not easy, but with God, it's full of peace and joy. So thank you, and please find some more on onwhitehorses.com. Okay. What are we at?
16.